Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I am MAESTRA teacher, and if you clicked on this video, that means that you're probably trying to learn a second language, which in this case will be Spanish. I am a second language learner myself. Spanish is my native language, and then I learned English throughout all my life. So I have quite an experience learning a second language, and I can help you firsthand with learning Spanish, especially if you're an English native speaker. In this video, I just wanted to talk about 5 things I believe you should know before trying to learn Spanish, so you can become familiarized with Spanish before you even begin learning it. Let's go ahead and start with number 1. Some important facts about the Spanish language. First of all, Spanish, we all know, comes from Spain. It is also known as Español or Castellano, which come from the Kingdom of Castilla or Castilla, which was the origins in the Iberian Peninsula in Spain. That's where this language basically came from. It is spoken in about 21 different countries in the world. Over 500 million people speak Spanish, some of them as a first language, some of them as a second language, like you guys are doing right now. Spanish is actually one of those 6 official languages of the United Nations, and is the 3rd language of communication in the internet. So those are important facts. In the United States, of course, there is no official language, but we all know most people do speak English. However, Spanish is also spoken by many other people here in the States as well. Other states like Alaska, South Dakota, Hawaii have second languages official to them. But really in the United States, there's no official language, even though English is the language that is mostly used. Let's see what else. Number 2. Spanish is known as a transparent language, and I'm going to explain what that means. When you compare English to Spanish, English is considered an opaque language, while Spanish is considered a transparent language. What does that mean? It means that English is a language that English can be a little bit more difficult to learn if you are a Spanish speaker, because in our language, in Spanish, when we hear sounds, we have one letter, and that letter represents one sound. One letter equals one sound. But in English, you have one letter, and that letter could have different sounds. And that's when the confusion comes in, because we're used to saying the letters specifically in a specific way, and that's the only way we say it. So when we start to learn English, then it becomes difficult because you can say a in different ways. So it depends. Well, when you are an English speaker and you're learning Spanish, this should be an easier way for you, because you will only have to learn one sound per letter, and that's the sound that that letter is going to make anywhere you put it in the word or in the sentence. Okay. Other languages are considered opaque, such as English could be Arabic, or it also is an opaque language. It has different sounds for the same letter. Let me see which other. Danish, I believe so. But transparent languages, we also like Spanish could be Finnish language. They have one sound per letter. Also Turkish. So it depends. So I just wanted to know I just wanted for you to know how you call the comparison opaque versus transparent. Another thing you need to know is number 3. A lot of people don't understand what is the difference between the word Hispanic and the word Latin. I've heard a lot of these words are used constantly to refer to the same persons, but I thought you should know that when you talk about a person who is a Hispanic, that means this person speaks Spanish. Okay? So a Hispanic could be a person from any of the countries that speak Spanish, including Spain, Colombia, Venezuela, Argentina. Those are all Hispanics. Now, when you talk about a Latino or Latina, that is a person who speaks a language that comes from what was known as the Romance or Latin languages. And a long time ago, there used to be another language called Latin, and that language eventually call it like a mother language. It had little babies, and those babies are called Spanish. the Portuguese, the French. The 4 languages that the Latin language produced were Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and French. So all those 4 languages are Latin languages or Romance languages, and therefore anybody who speaks any of those 4 languages is considered a Latino or Latina, even though that term is used mostly to represent people from Latin America. But really, a Latin is a person who speaks a language that comes from the Latin languages, again, Portuguese, French, Italian, and Spanish. Let's go to number 4. Learning a second language is fun if you make it fun. I think some people, when you go to like this language schools, or you're trying to learn it from these programs like Rosetta Stone, or I don't know, any of these programs, I consider them robotic programs. I think when you learn from one person to another, like one-on-one, is more like a communication way, more fun, more natural way to learn the language. So I rather learn a second language from another person than just from a book. I hear a lot of teachers when they're teaching Spanish in high school, they do this mechanical Spanish where there's constant only repetitions, like yo trabajo en la fábrica, or things like that, that kids don't, people who speak Spanish don't necessarily speak it that way. So I want to teach the kind of Spanish that you guys can communicate with someone. You go on a trip to Mexico tomorrow, you can talk to them, say, hi, how are you? Normal, natural Spanish. That's the kind of Spanish I teach in my channel. If you're interested in other kind of more academic Spanish, then there's plenty of other videos from other sources that can help you do that as well. And number 5, the last thing I think you should know before learning Spanish or a language is that you should try to begin listening to music in Spanish, watch TV in Spanish. Try to immerse yourself as much as you can in the second language, because if you live in a household where everybody speaks English, or the language that you are not learning, but your first language, then you need to practice it as much as you can. And if you don't have anybody to practice with, you can always at least listen to music, watch TV videos, try to read, try to watch YouTube videos, things that are in Spanish, to begin getting used to the sound of Spanish, how things are pronounced, and how the Spanish language flows. All right? So I hope you enjoyed this video and you're ready to begin your second language with me. Please go ahead, like and subscribe, and let's go ahead and learn Spanish. Hasta luego. One final thing I wanted to also share with you, consider this like a bonus round, bonus information. When you're learning Spanish, keep in mind that different countries speak different words in Spanish. Just because a person speaks Spanish doesn't mean they have the same specific language in Spanish as they do in other countries. For example, the Spanish that they speak in Mexico may be different than the Spanish that they speak in Puerto Rico or the Caribbean areas, Dominican Republic, or the Hispanic they speak in Argentina is different than the one, I don't know, in other countries. So it depends on where you go. If you're trying to learn a second language because you are going to travel to a country that they speak Spanish, just make sure that you do a little research before to see more or less what kind of Spanish they speak. There are some words that are common in all the countries, but remember that different countries have different kinds of Spanish, different accents, and some of the words that might be considered regular words in a country might be considered bad words in another country. There's a lot of countries that have different meanings to the different words in Spanish. So just be careful where you go to, try to learn more, especially those things. I have had the experience of bad words where I consider what I say a word and then I'm speaking with someone from a different country, Spanish, but they looked at me like, what did you just say? Because to me, it's not a bad word, but to them it is. So it depends on the country. Just keep that in mind, because just like in English, if you're a person from Australia, from England, or from the United States or Canada, you all have different cultures, and maybe some words that they speak in Britain or in English over there are not the same ones here. We don't know what they mean. So the same thing happened in Spanish. 20 different countries speak Spanish. They may have different meanings to different words. So it all depends on where you go. The kind of Spanish that I try to teach here is a basic one. I try to, when I teach some words that I know are different, like in Mexico or the Caribbean or South America, I try to mention it so that you are aware that this is how you say it in this specific country, or that this word may be considered bad in other countries. But again, learning a second language is a wonderful experience. I hope you stay with me in this video so you learn a lot. Please don't forget again to subscribe and like, and I'll see you next time. Hasta luego.